Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Dave Candido.
And we're coming back to you again with some more Batman, Superman good times with Injustice 2, the sequel. I even got the Steelbook one because I spent an enormous amount of money when this game came out. It was like I bought the $100 version because I was so excited because there's more new Batman stuff and Justice League and everything. And then, lo and behold, that game's $4.99 nowadays. You don't get the Steelbook, I guess. So at least I get the Steelbook. At the end of the day, I can say that. Though I will say this. It used to this always bothers me. Okay, the Steelbook's cool, right? I hate this, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, can't they make that smaller so at least it can fit in the case or something like that? It's just flopping around.
Or like they do with the plastic sleeves, like.
Yeah, like something like that. I just always feel this is cheap, and I see it all the time, like on Blu-rays and everything like that. And it just gets in the way of everything.
How much money did you save, Warner Brothers? Yeah,
it's just like you could have just went that extra little bit farther, spend those extra couple pennies, and at least have something that looks decent together. Yeah, I don't know that's one of those ones. I have so many movies and so many games when they have that. And you can't shove it like before it's like, oh well, can I shove it back in the case? No, it's too big for the case, so you can't put it inside there.
Yeah, I know, right?
I can't remember.
Fold it up and make it all crappy, and then put it back in there.
Oh, look at this one! Even comes with just this little comic book and stuff. I forgot what this came with.
That's pretty cool. I've only actually. What's funny is speaking of the sleeves, my wife ordered Kiki's Delivery Service, and
great movie.
It was delivered today, and it was in one of those plastic sleeves. So somebody's not skimping on the covers there.
yeah, somebody. Yeah, well, you do pay a little bit more of the premium when you get those Studio Ghibli movies.
I will say the only Steelbook or steel case, whatever you want to say, games that I ever had were was the first one that I ever had was Halo 2.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And I bought that probably a year after the game was released, and I remember being in Walmart, and I thought I was like getting an awesome deal. Like I thought it was like, whoa, like no one has this, and it's like most people probably had it, but I thought it was super cool. But then I was also kind of bummed out that like later on I was at a friend's house who had the normal version, and the book was different. The little booklet that came in the case.
Really?
Yes. So the little metal case, because it's not real steel, but the metal case that Halo 2 was in, everything inside was modeled after the Covenant. So the normal game was like UNSC. So like all the descriptions and everything, it was all UNSC designations, and then in the Steelbook one, it was all like as if a Covenant historian wrote everything. And I didn't know that for years. And
it's just a bunch of alien gibberish.
Yeah. Instead of because, back when gaming was awesome and,
and they used to give you all kinds of shit in the thing,
the booklet was 30 pages and it had all the different enemies in it and all this and that and the story of the game. In the UNSC, the basic version of Halo 2, the book would say jackals, grunts, elites, brutes, and in the Steelbook version, it was like their alien names.
Oh, that's cool.
And I thought it was pretty cool.
That's actually really cool. I did not know that because I just have the regular version of Halo 2. So I guess I didn't even put two and two together. They actually changed the entire booklet.
Yeah.
That's almost the way that they do it. So you have to double dip. So you have to get both versions.
Yeah. And then the second one I got that was a Steelbook was Doom 3. And
okay, I have that one too. That was a badass on the original Xbox One.
2 and maybe 1.
Yeah, it came with 1 and 2.
Yeah, and I bought that. Yeah, I mean that was right when Doom 3 came out. I mean it was kind of revolutionary, for the fans because Doom 3 was a huge jump from Doom 2. And I know a lot of people don't like a lot of Doom aficionados don't like that one all that much compared to the newer ones, but I don't know. I thought it was fantastic.
Well, that's a weird one too because when that game first came out, it was super popular, and I thought everybody liked it. And then in recent times, people were like, it just hasn't aged as well, and it's slower paced, and dude, because I used to think it was like that game and Resident Evil the remake were like the two scariest games of the time.
Yeah, I can't do the OG Resident Evils, man. I get way too impatient and frustrated those stupid camera angles. And I'm like, I'm not doing this.
That's my favorite part. Is like I always want, like when I talk about survival horrors, I'm like, I want camera angles, turn-based combat. Yep, I want all that stuff in there, and preloaded backgrounds. Those are my three like things that I want.
I will say though, with the other, my stupid lights were kind of messed up. With those remakes, I didn't play those either, but I watched them like on YouTube a lot. I will say that I think the route that Resident Evil went, it really took kind of the horror aspect away, even though it is still like a horror concept and everything. I think what had to have made the game a little more terrifying when they came out was the fact that you didn't know what the hell to do. You didn't know how to do what you needed to do, and you've got zombies coming at you and Mr. X, and all that, and you're just like, oh god, I can't move, I can't get out of this room. Meanwhile, starting with Resident Evil 4, for example, and that game really was still horror, but it was playable, like legitimate, like, wow, I can play this, I'm an idiot and I can play this because of the controls, you know what I mean? And
and it really actually the only major difference is you have the aiming, and then the camera's always behind the shoulder in that one. Because if you think about it, it's still tank controls in Resident Evil 4.
Well, but the other difference too is well, I guess you already said the camera, like it's behind you, it's that third person view the whole time, whereas the other ones the camera was a fixed position, you just run around the room.
Yeah, and then once in a blue moon, you run to a camera angle, and there's a dude right there, or something like that. Yeah.
But I remember 5 people talking about how it wasn't really a horror game. It was like 90% action game. And I get it. But I think that if all the games played like the original Resident Evils, I think that it would just make it that much more. It gets you. It's kind of a suspenseful thing. It's very gets you a little anxious.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those ones, like, I mean, I'll say this is because it's, the original Resident Evils, if I want kind of the story and the atmosphere and the vibe and everything like that, those are my favorite ones. But I kid you not, 5 is so much fun.
I love that 5. Game. I thought
I think it's one of the best games out there, like, just of anything. It's just, I have such a good time. I bought that game many times over. I played it. It's got pretty much one of the best co-ops ever made. And a lot of times I go, the horror is actually no different than 4. It's just the only difference is you have somebody standing next to you the whole time. That always is going to significantly cut down. You can have the exact same amount of horror scenes, but if you know that there's somebody there that's at least going to take a shot.
Yeah, I feel like they were probably like, think about Leon and Ashley. Just imagine if Ashley was useful.
Well, I remember as a kid playing Resident Evil 2 and everything like that, and the thing that I imagined, I was like, because the PlayStation did have this ability. It did have a link cable, so you could hook 2 PlayStation 1s up to each other and something like that.
Yeah.
For probably 5 games that used it, like usual. But I always thought, I'm like, dude, just imagine if like one person was on the Leon disc and the other person had the Claire disc, and you each played through, but you could like meet up and everything like that, and it was like co-op, but you could go out and do different puzzles, or you could work together. I always wanted that feature, so when I finally saw it, like in Resident Evil 5, I was so excited because I was that's what I've been wanting literally since like the original days of Resident Evil, and. Resident Evil 0 kind of had that to an extent because, Billy and Rebecca would be together. Granted, it's not like you could play co-op like 2 players, but, it was a start.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, anyway, Doom was that. And then the third one and the last one I ever had, Steel Case, was the Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. And,
there we go.
That was super cool. And I ended up I think I don't remember what I did with it. I think I gave it to my ex-wife or something. But no, that was it. And then after that, I never got a Steel book again. It was, I don't know why. I just there was a couple years I just stopped gaming, and then I came back to it, and I've just kind of gone for the best deals I can get, and usually the Steel books weren't it.
yeah, for the most part, that's kind of how, the Steel books are either one of 2 things. It's either it's going to be worth some more money in the long run, or it's worth the exact same price as the normal case, because I've seen that before too. Yeah,
and nowadays I just don't like we said, games don't come with most of the stuff that they used to all the time. Like, you still do have like the limited or deluxe edition of some of these games, but for the price that they are, I'm just like, no,
Well, my problem is that like
can't justify it.
they kind of screw you over anymore if you get the physical version. Like, it's like they really don't want you to get that. And it's like, other than like a Nintendo game, as in like Metroid or Donkey Kong, like I can't really imagine getting those physical ones anymore because like the PlayStation and Xbox games, it's like there's really no point to getting those ones. You're better off getting the digital one anyways, because then you can get the cloud gaming or any of that kind of bonus features and so on. There's the disc. The disc barely even has like a starter file, maybe if you're lucky.
Exactly.
And then the rest of it has to download offline. So it's like, what's the point there?
I think even a lot of Switch 2 games are no longer completely on the cartridge anymore.
That's what I mean. It's like only if they're like Nintendo brand are they like probably on the cartridge. 'Cause a lot of the other games are not, and it's like that's the stupidest one. It's like, like mainly the main reason I used to buy Switch games, especially in physical, was because that really saved on your memory because it only has such a big like hard drive capacity that you kind of need to have it that way.
Switch 1, man, that's where gaming started to die.
Well, really, I feel like Nintendo's just going to be the last one that does physicals. Yeah, I kind of have a feeling that like PlayStation, Xbox by the next system won't have physicals, and if they do, it's like one, you're going to have to buy a disc drive on the side, so it's not going to come in the system.
Well, that's what I noticed when I was one of the last jobs I had when I was a working man was at the electronics department in the store on base that I worked at, and I started noticing it. It threw me off for a minute because I'm like, what the hell is this? And at first I thought it was like a new Xbox, like Xbox, whatever, Xbox Series 5000 X million, and because it was gray or white or one of the two. No, it was gray, I think. And but it looked like a Series X, but it had no hard drive or disk drive. And I'm like, what the, and then the same thing with the PS5s. And I read up on it, and it's like, they're just phasing them out, the ones with the drives, and no surprise.
Because I feel like
it's the same price.
Yeah, well, it's like they generally they'll charge you $100 more for the drive, so you get that there. But I mean, those days are just kind of ending. That's just kind of how it is. It's okay. I got my Injustice here, but of course I got it digitally, so it doesn't make a fucking difference.
Well,
you know what? Because I got it digitally, I was able to play it on my Xbox Game Pass on my phone, so I could take some Injustice with me, and that's what you don't get if you get the disc. Sadly, if you get the disc, they just say, "Yeah, good for you," that's it. But you don't get the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You can't play it on your little PlayStation.
You can't play it on the PlayStation Portal, and you can't play it on the Game Pass. So it's like
I keep wanting to call that a PlayStation Portable.
It sounds like it should be there, but yeah. So they get
that's
you
so
there.
Crazy that PlayStation already did it, and then got rid of it, and it's kind of back, but I'd say a little bit better. The PlayStation Portable kind of the whole concept, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Well, no, it's a good thing you got multiple copies of Injustice 2 because it's a pretty fantastic game, if I may.
Yeah.
I will
hell,
say
it was
right
one of those ones like when we were doing Mortal Kombat 11, there was literally a deal that popped up. It was like $7.99 for Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate and Injustice Ultimate on Xbox. I already had them on PlayStation, but hell, give me on it for that price. That's a hell of a deal.
I think I had Mortal Kombat 11 on both myself.
Yeah, and then I think I bought you the Injustice 2 one on there because I was like, that's a hell of a deal. One of these days we'll get around to it, and here we are. We finally got to it. Especially 13 minutes in, they're like, Jesus, how long is that gonna get?
Hey, it was real important stuff we were talking about. Real important.
Yeah, it all lead up to steelbook cases and everything like that. And which version did you get?
But yeah, no, right off the bat, man, with Injustice 2, right off the bat, man. Right off the
bat, you're playing as Batman.
Exactly. Again. But I have to say, I'm not quite sure if I can really nail down the most solid reasons, but I enjoyed playing this game a bit more than the first one. It could be just a placebo kind of thing. It could have been all in my head. But I felt like I just played this game better than the other one. And
as in control wise is what you're thinking?
Yeah. And the controls really aren't different either. I just felt like, I don't know, maybe it was like I had my warm up with, Injustice.
Yeah. Something more, a little bit more dialed in.
Injustice 2. Like I just, I don't know. And maybe there was slightly different moves with some of the characters. But I just noticed that, yeah, for whatever reason, I enjoyed playing it more. There is, the graphics are pretty substantially different, better in a way. It's kind of funny. It definitely, it's, if you didn't realize it was made by NetherRealm, you should now at this point. Because it's just like Mortal Kombat, going from 9 to 10. This one I think came out before MK11, right?
Yeah, so this one's after 10. So that's why it's got that jump in graphics too, because
Injustice, or 9 Injustice, 10 Injustice,
10,
11.
2, and then 11, yeah. Because this one here is like one Injustice, the original one, 360 PS3 game technically,
Yeah.
and then this one here, full board PS4 and Xbox One game, and you can definitely see the graphics improved, even like way over Mortal Kombat 10, though it's using the same engine.
Oh wow. Yeah, I was gonna say the graphics really, to me, were more aligned with 11, or at least somewhere in between. And it's a super sharp looking game. I don't know what it looks like on Xbox, but on the PS5, which is what I was playing on, it looked pretty fantastic. And of course, we talked about in the previous game how manly the women looked. Wonder Woman looked like this bodybuilder.
They've got these big jaws and Raven and all that. So this one they've Yeah, and they're just all. It just kind of looks like a boy who's never really seen like a woman before, except for maybe his mother, who is also like an Eastern European gal.
It's a lot of comic book artists, but yeah, the
women look more like women in this one. If that's
they do, and I mean, it's nice. It's nice to see the good art, the good graphics, and everything. It just makes the game easier to play and watch and whatnot. But yeah, what was the other thing? Oh, and also, it's like we were saying in the last game. It's interesting to. It's almost like if you were playing, if you had two TVs, I guess you could say two bedrooms, or exactly like what we do now. But I like to imagine having two TVs side by side. One person is playing Injustice, the other person is playing Mortal Kombat, and because that's what I kept thinking about, the similarities between the games. And you can definitely, or just like we were talking before, you can see the similarities between the games. You can see where it's almost like one of the games, I don't know if it was going to be Injustice or Mortal Kombat, but it's like almost one of them was kind of like the test run for that next game. How you had the quick time events with Injustice, and then you had the quick time events in Mortal Kombat 10. Yeah. Injustice and Mortal Kombat 9 looked very similar to each other graphics wise, but the gameplay mechanics, some of the gameplay mechanics, like that quick time was something in Mortal Kombat 10. And then in this game, in Injustice 2, you had, throughout the campaign or story mode, you're constantly choosing which character you want to be. Whereas that was a thing in Mortal Kombat 11. Mm-hmm. And, but as you said, it's the same engine as 10. So I don't know. It's like, that's why I keep thinking, like, I'm wondering what these people that are making these games, like, which one do they care about more? Like which one are they honing their skills in so they can make that other game like what they really want to make, But,
well, I definitely think Injustice is the experimental game compared to like Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's the bread and butter. So I feel like you can use Injustice to kind of try out new features and all kinds of stuff, and see if they kind of work, and I do kind of like that they have like the switch off character thing, because one, you get more characters involved in the storyline, instead of because there's always some characters that just never, it's like, I almost feel like it'd be nice if they could find a way that every single character in the roster could at least somehow, some way be playable throughout the storyline, even if it's only for a couple chapters. I think that'd be kind of cool. Instead about, generally it's like you play as like half the characters realistically.
Yeah, and in Mortal Kombat, I really feel like in this game they did the choose your character like way more than in Mortal Kombat 11. I could be wrong, but I feel like it wasn't quite as much, but.
It's definitely in here 4 times, and then when you beat the game the first time, you realize you have to go back and play all those ones where you switch. Because I was doing that thing where I'd play as like, I'll play as Green Arrow on this one, Black Canary on the next one, and just go flip flop, flip flop, flip flop.
Yes, that's what I was doing.
And then I had to go back and do that, but I had to memorize which one they were, because you had to go in there and play each little story chapter again, because you had to have all of them so you could get the double endings.
Which one you did?
Oh yeah, it does. But you have to. Well, I was doing it where like I would just do it like those 4 in a row, and I go, okay, start with Black Canary, and just go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, and you'd get them all, and then I'd exit back out of the menu and do it again, and yeah.
Yeah, and then also just like they did in Mortal Kombat 11, is at the end of the game, you have to choose which side you want to be. Same thing in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I don't know why. I just think it's super neat. I can't think of another company that makes 2 fighting games side by side that are so similar like that. Maybe they're out there. I just don't know.
Yeah,
it's probably
just that dialed in. I hate to sort of say it.
But,
yeah. Closest thing I could probably say would be Soul Calibur and Tekken. Even though those games are kind of ridiculously kind of different from each other, they're still both Namco
Konami,
games.
I think.
No, Namco on those ones.
Namco, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
so it's like
I thought it was the strangest thing. I mean, when I was young, it like kept every time I turned on the game, it just blew my mind that Yoshimitsu was in Soul Calibur. I'm like, why is he here?
Yeah, they're both there, because that's the weirdest thing about those ones is both those games. It's made by they almost don't feel like they're made from like the same company because they're radically different.
Totally differently.
Because a lot of times I always feel Soul Calibur feels more like it's a Sega game. It feels like it's spawned off of Virtual Fighter and everything like that.
Yeah, the first time I played Virtual Fighter, Soul Calibur was on a Sega Saturn. I believe it was the first game.
Oh, Virtual Fighter?
No, Soul Calibur.
Was Soul Blade on Saturn? Gosh, I thought Soul Blade was only on PlayStation 1. I know on Dreamcast there was Soul Calibur 1.
There was definitely one of them.
Because it's confusing because it's like there's Soul Blade, which is really the original one, and then there's Soul Calibur. Maybe Soul Blade was on Saturn. I guess I've just never played it on Saturn.
It was one of them was definitely on Saturn, and it might have been. I just remember because I was getting my butt kicked by my neighbor. He was playing a Cervantes, but there was also, I don't know how many games were like this, but I remember on this Sega, it was like all the characters were babies. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Trying to think about that.
It was like they were tiny characters. It wasn't normal.
Yeah, there could have been a mode like that. That was always like kind of a common thing. They had like the Virtual Fighter Kids. They had the Street Fighter Pocket and all that stuff.
It. Like they might have been kids or something. But yeah, it's been forever. I can't. Dang. Now I'm gonna have to look this up because
because I feel like I haven't played enough Soul Blade to say like what all like the hidden unlockables and all that kind of stuff are in that game. I literally just played it like on PlayStation and then played more of it on Dreamcast and GameCube.
Yeah, but that was forever ago.
But as I was saying, that's about the only other company I can think of that actually has 2 major like fighting game series that kind of have run parallel for a while. I mean, granted, Injustice only has 2 games, so it is kind of that weird one that like maybe once it has a third one, we could consider it a series. It's like at that weird point, like is 2 games considered a series, or do you feel like there needs to be one more?
I do. One thing was weird too. I wanted to see how I played as the Mortal Kombat characters in Injustice. Because it's
Sub-Zero and Raiden.
Yeah, Sub-Zero and Raiden. The first one I think was just Scorpion.
Yeah, so he was just the lone man out.
But I was almost like, man, I wish there was like one more character in there. But then I'm like, whatever. Who cares?
Well, it's like that weird one too when I think about like when they have the Mortal Kombat characters in there. I get it; they're kind of more like a bonus little thing there. I know there's also that other thought too that like, are they taking up a slot that could just be another brand new DC character?
For sure.
But at the same time, I bet you here's the thing: putting in Sub-Zero or Scorpion is pretty darn easy. We've done this 15 times. Just whip them on in there, give them a special new uniform, and bada bing, bada boom, there you go. We know how to make it go.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, there's definitely characters though that I can't imagine being in the games. Like I've seen it somewhere before, but I read it was probably on Reddit somewhere. But somebody was saying how when there's always the debate about like characters from DC versus characters in Marvel or whatever else, I've seen it more than once. People saying that characters in DC are too powerful, and I mean I've definitely seen some like world-ending people in Marvel too. But then I think about characters like the He was in the Justice League show. He was like that dude that was shooting through space, and he was like just a solid gold like alien creature. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, he's kind of like DC's, Silver Surfer type guy.
Kinda. And like he was coming to Earth because he wanted to find Luthor and like kill Luthor or just confront him. And Luthor was like terrified, and they tried to like Superman and everybody else tried to like fend this guy off, but he just annihilated everybody. And the Atom had like shrunken Luthor and
I thought this sounds kind of familiar. He's hiding him or something. Yeah.
Yes. And he's like hiding him in like whatever they call that. I don't know, nano space or some shit. And that alien thing like couldn't hide from him. He's like, I see you. But just these like world ending creatures. I always wonder, like, they'll probably never be in a fighting game, like, because how do you like, how do you judge that power scale? How do you scale that power? You know what I mean?
Well, they found a way in Injustice 1 is that all it takes is a kryptonite little, like, you just pop a couple capsules and bada bing, bada boom, you got some Superman, strength. You'd be like the Joker and just take a bullet. Well, this is kind of the weird thing is because the way this game sort of opens up is this, like, we're just in, like, the regime world, pretty much, or whatever you want to call it. The alternative world. We don't even see the other one.
I don't know why I was really thrown off by that. Like, the normal DC world, like, has nothing to do with this game. Just the aftermath.
It's just the aftermath. It's like kind of like in the first one, they kind of wanted to, like kind of have a gateway in. Like, here's the characters here's our alternative world, so you can get used to it. Now it's like, well, you already know, so here we're gonna go. Except for this is the weird one. I love how Green Arrow just decided to stay in this world because he dies.
I was so thrown off by that.
Yeah, he dies, so it's obviously the Green Arrow from the real world decides to not be in that world. Why, I don't know, because obviously he's leaving, like, his other, like, family members behind. And then he's like, well, you know what, there's a new Black Canary in this one, so here we go. Let's try this. The other Dinah couldn't get pregnant, so maybe this one will. Because that was a major storyline for Green Arrow is that, Dinah couldn't have kids, so...
I'm seeing here the AI overview says that he stayed. He was recruited. Oh, wait.
But it, like, mentions none of this, like, in the story. It's just all of a sudden, it just kind of assumes that you're going to figure this out, that you're going to put two and two together, that this obviously has to be the other Green Arrow, or the Green Arrow from, like, the standard DC universe.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to understand it. Yeah.
No, he just stayed. He just, as I said, he, like,
I think I think it was also the Black Canary that he was married to or whatever that came with him. Like, I really don't know, because that's also pretty weird, because I'm thinking, like, you left your actual wife to be with your kind of wife
from another time,
and she's okay with that. Like,
that's like, because that's a good question. Is that Black Canary that's in this game from the regime world or from the original world? Like, what the? Yeah, what is Green Arrow just? It's either that, or it's like, I got that Shadow lady pregnant, so I'm gonna. Hey, Bats, what you doing? I'm gonna follow you in over. No reason to send me back. I don't have to explain myself.
Yeah, so what I'm seeing from Reddit saying that it's neither the guy that died and it's not the one from the other game. It's a third universe, Green Arrow. Either way. Why?
I'm not. I'm like, no. We're not doing the third universe thing here. There's two universes. That's it. We're not making this like ultra complex. I'm just gonna believe that Green Arrow had some stuff that he didn't want to take care of, so he came to join this Batman on his fight for glory, and go this direction.
But it also begs the question, like, Green Arrow's an awesome character. Like,
he's one of my favorites.
I figured they had to just make up a reason to have him in the game again. And but if I were in that universe, in that game, if I'm Batman, I'd be like, I would love to think, like, what was the reason for this? Like, why did I feel like I needed another Green Arrow? No, like, is he super intelligent like Batman? Whatever. But Anyway, yeah. So yeah, it starts off. You got Green Arrow again. He's back with Black Canary, and Superman's on trial. And I was really interested to see what the heck they were going to do with him because, I mean, he's Superman. Obviously, there's the big green elephant in the room, kryptonite. You got enough kryptonite, you can cripple him and just keep him powerless.
Just shine some red light on him, they'll bother him.
Exactly.
He doesn't like the red light therapy.
I didn't know about that till playing these games.
Because that's like what Krypton's like sun was red.
I see. That's silly.
So they were totally normal, and then you add a good brand new sun. It's got old bright yellow light or bright, and it gives them superpowers and so on like that. Which I will say, this is another one of those kind of games though. If you are a Superman fan, I can see where I love Superman. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, if Superman's like your number one guy, you might be kind of angry at these games for the fact of like, because now you don't even have a good Superman. You just have a bad Superman. Yeah, it's like both Superman and then I also think Wonder Woman. It's like, boy, do they make them, they're just total villains in these games.
I do. This game I feel was just a smidge less dark than the first one. In some
Superman
ways,
doesn't kill he doesn't kill a 10-year-old boy.
11-year-old, yeah, exactly. Burn his brain out. But he also, I feel like it's not quite as dark, but it's just as brutal in a lot of ways. And, what was I gonna say? But you don't have the regular Superman or the good Superman, of course. You really they are painting Diana Wonder Woman in a terrible light. Wow, what a piece of crap she is. And
she's just so old world. She's just like it's literally like she just traveled from like 2,000 years ago and just like is trying to put her thumb down on everybody.
And I forget, is Black Adam's like an anti-hero, right?
Yeah, he's kind of in that category. He's not like, I mean, he's a bad guy to Shazam and Captain Marvel, but it's not necessarily like he's like a super bad guy like Braniac or whatever that we have coming here in this game.
Yeah, so that's what I really liked. Braniac was probably one of my favorite things about this game, the way they designed him. Because I've seen Braniac in other media, of course, like the Warner Brothers cartoons.
Yep.
And I always thought he was a very mediocre design character. I thought he was just kind of almost silly, especially in the really old non-Warner Brothers, of course, but Super Friends. He just looked like a weird dude. It was a really weird, I think he had like dots on his head or something. But in this game, they made him look pretty darn terrifying. And his whole concept of, eating planets, basically, he's kind of like a almost like Galactus in a way.
Well, he collects stuff is what he does instead.
Yeah.
So he goes to a planet, he finds the best city, by judging, and just takes that city, puts it in a bottle and goes, yep, that's in my collection. So he's just like the ultimate like comic book nerd guy who just storms into like a shop and just pushes all the kids out of the way, buys the 50 packs of like first edition Pokemon cards, and goes on to the next store.
Yeah. He's like if you took Galactus and the Collector from Marvel and put them together. Yeah, because once he's done collecting, he destroys the planet.
Yeah, he destroys the planet because he's like, I only need one good city. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which means he's kind of probably pretty racist because he just picks one city in there and goes, you know what? We don't need the rest of these guys. They haven't been doing anything good.
I don't know if it's shown in other superhero or Superman movies about when they do the origin story and Krypton blowing up, but from what I understand, Braniac was responsible for destroying Krypton as far as injustice is concerned. Either that or he just killed everyone. Because
he is, like, depending on which kind of origin it is, there is some of those ones where Braniac does it, because he does capture Kandor, which is like where Supergirl's kind of city is and everything like that. And then, of course, Superman takes that city and he keeps it in, like, the Fortress of Solitude later on in life. And you're like, one of these days I'll figure out how to get this bigger. Till then, you guys are cool here, right? You built my fish tank.
Yeah. But yeah, no, super cool scene there. It was, I knew Supergirl was gonna have to be in this game, and
yeah, she's almost kind of the main character
especially if you're not gonna have normal Superman,
yeah.
And of course she starts out they give that kind of prequel, like she was headed to Earth alongside Kal-El, and then one of Braniac's, well, because of him destroying the planet, like they got blown off course from each other, and I guess it's interesting. Like they never met apparently, but then they still somehow knew each other. I think through like implanted memories or some shit.
Well, it's because like in like the memories that like Jor-El and stuff.
They're in the like.
Yeah, so like, oh yeah, by the way, you had this cousin that we sent with you too. Just in case if you didn't find anything. I mean, like we were sending you to Kansas, so marrying your cousin wasn't too weird.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we sent her. You know what I mean? We just thought like you might as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's very convenient that she showed up right after the events of Injustice.
So she didn't get to see Superman kill the Joker. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
She's totally in the dark about that. And and Black Adam for some reason doesn't bring that up either.
No. Well, it's because they want to, I guess they're like biding their time and trying to figure out the best way and time to bust Superman out of the red jail, which of course Superman is in a big red bubble jail, can't do nothing. And he's like, I guess he's awaiting trial or maybe it's already happening or something. And then that just becomes like the biggest, like pointless conversation in the whole game. The conversation that Batman's having with all those, whoever they are, the leaders of the world or some shit.
Oh, when he's Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
Like up there?
Yes. Sorry, not Batman, but Bruce Wayne. Yeah. He's telling everybody like, oh, Superman, he wasn't really a bad guy, but he was kind of a dick, like the whole thing.
See, Batman doesn't have the greatest. When it comes down to locking people up, Batman's kind of not the guy you want to talk to because he just keeps locking people up that keep coming back out, and the rehab never works. Like,
No.
like really, like that's like Batman's the perfect example of like how rehab you're just gonna fall back off the wagon, no matter what.
Yeah, rehab or just the justice system in general.
Yeah, it's like Batman just really believes it. He's like, you know what? Maybe the next time they're finally going to learn their ways. You know what? Maybe Joker could become a cab driver. Tell funny jokes to tourists as they're coming into Gotham.
Yeah, this freak that's like has a weird skin condition and fucked up green hair. Like people are going to ride in his cab.
I mean, it's like I only bumped him and he fell into that vat of acid. Come on. It wasn't my fault. He was just standing in the way. I didn't kill him. I pulled him out just in time.
But yeah, so him and I guess there's other prisoners in there too that are from the insurgency. The other thing is that this game does, it shows you the little bit of a prologue that was Batman and Damian Wayne, who was Robin at the time. I like how in Injustice Damian is Nightwing. And in this game, he starts out as in the prologue. It shows him starts out as Robin, so he promotes himself to Nightwing from Robin after he leaves Bruce.
It's kind of a weird way that they've got that worked in there, and it's not like Damian has ever been Nightwing. That's a completely different character, but that's okay. It feels like that's just there because they needed to sort of fit like. How are you going to play as Nightwing? Because you don't want to take Nightwing out of the game. He's kind of one of the pivotal characters, but. Mm-hmm.
And that said, I mean, I can't exactly blame Damian Wayne for allying with Superman because, of course, they go into the prison. There's these criminals and, Superman's just kind of taking them out. And
Zaz comes out,
And Batman's like, no, you can't do that. And Damian is kind of like, And then, that's when you fight Superman and beat him up somehow, and and then Damian's like no, and him and Superman takes him and they take off. That's it. And
that's because Superman assassinates Zaz in there, and that's the one that kind of is like the turning point. Because Zaz literally he cuts himself every single time he kills somebody. So if you can tell, his entire body's scarred, which means he's killed thousands of people practically.
Yes.
And for some reason, Batman's like, one of these days he's gonna turn a new leaf.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't really blame Damian because
no, you can't blame, especially when Damian he's like, dude, I was raised by Ra's al Ghul, Talia al Ghul. Like, come on, like they were purifying the world in a different way, Batman, and Batman's just like, no, I believe in everybody. Everybody's got a good soul.
Oh,
You just gotta have faith, Rob, and just one more. Just come on, like, just give him one more chance.
It's dude, I love Batman. He's probably my all-time favorite DC character, and you know,
He's
as
so
many
good.
million people out there are going to choose Batman as well, and I get it, you know. But at the same time, like, for one, I'm not a hipster. Okay, I'm not going to be like, oh, you, that's you know, Batman's your favorite. You're a conformist. My favorites, I don't know, some stupid character nobody cares about. You know, like, you know how people are. But no, Batman is probably my favorite DC character.
No, Batman is like the logical. He's just
that said, if there was one thing I would fix, it'd be like, hey, dude, you know, you can't execute these people sometimes. You know, like, just accidentally forget to catch him. You know,
that's what they always do in the movies. They always make him like do the actual like in like Batman Begins, where he's like, you know, I don't have to save you, or he's like, you know, I don't have to save you, or whatever the heck he says there. But totally drawing a blank on that quote. But you know, where he doesn't save him, he just lets him fall because it's like one of those things. You know, he's like, I didn't kill you, but like I didn't have to save you either, kind of thing.
Oh, I in the Tim Burton film that you just told
Tim Burton, when he just straps a bomb to a guy and chucks him over the it's like so illogical. Batman was.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, he was killing people in that one.
Yeah, as I said, I think it's literally due to like just an old school comics thing of like, whoa, wait a second, if we kill our villains and stuff, like, we're gonna have to be either coming up with new ones all the time, and it's just gonna be a lot of work. I feel like that's what it turned out to, and that's why, like, even in Marvel, for the most part, they don't generally kill, and like a lot of that.
Usually, the biggest difference I think I've seen in the comics I've read with Marvel is, I feel like in the Marvel ones, instead of just like getting arrested and like put in Arkham, it's usually they just like get away.
Yeah, they get. Oh, there's that. What's that prison that's in what's in the Spider-Man ones? Well, whatever. That's where they send all Spider-Man's villains and so on like that for the most part. I'm trying.
I know what you're talking about.
Stryker Island.
That's right.
Yeah. So there is that there, which is kind of like the Arkham in the sense, except for there's no psychiatrist or any of that stuff going on. It's just they're just at maximum security there.
Yeah.
You know, and then somehow, some way, Shield's security is just never up to par. So
yeah, no kidding.
Free. You know, but yeah, like I always think that is the one, and Batman stuck to that, like I don't kill, you know what I mean? And where Dinah's like, well, I've been in a lot of wars, I kill left and right. That's what I do for breakfast. What are you gonna say to that, Bruce?
But yeah, it's like the game pretty much it's not all that different from the first one. Like at its core, you know, you've got superheroes versus superheroes, and they found clever ways to put new characters in the game, which was great, because you don't want to play the same game twice. But Superman, I think, really becomes a pinnacle part of the game probably about halfway through, and because Diana and Black Adam want to break him out, they have Supergirl. They decide, let's go do it. I think it's right when what's his name, frickin' Braniac invades. But before that happens, before you know Braniac is on Earth, Batman has Green Arrow, Black Canary, and Harley Quinn go investigate some crap that's going on with Gorilla Grodd, which I thought was a pretty cool character in this game.
Yeah, I like Gorilla Grodd a lot, and I like how they actually have a lot of Flash characters in this one, which I think is pretty neat.
Yeah, and one of them, I do have to say, I think it was kind of silly that I thought he was cool, but I think the way that they made him like in the game, was Reverse Flash. When he's like, "What are you doing here?" and he's like, "You should go home. You know, you don't belong." He's like, "I wish I could, but your insurgency's killed my ancestors." So now, I'm like, that's a really inconvenient or convenient one. Just to, I started to think like, you know, you didn't really have to do much to make this character. You just changed the color palette. You know, is that what you're doing here? Giving us another character on the roster, so you can say that there's another character in here.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he's just literally just when you play as him like in the game, he's just a costume. So
yes, that's what I'm saying. But that I thought that was kind of silly. However, it was a really cool scene. Anytime you have characters that are able to exhibit their powers to their their full extent or near full extent in scenes like they did with the two Flashes racing and fighting at the same time, like that's cool. Yeah, I hate when you've got characters in games that or movies where the either director or the designer, whatever you want to say, doesn't have them do much with what they were written to do. You know what I mean?
Like they're not actually using their actual skills.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you had, I don't know, Aquaman, you know, in the game. Like imagine if you never went to Atlantis. Imagine
you never saw him in the water.
That's what I mean. Like it's like you might as well just give him some boxing gloves, you know. But luckily that it didn't happen. So anyway, yeah, that's really cool scenes that they had with Flash. I'm glad they did bring him back. They brought him. It's almost like they brought him out of retirement. So he's kind of like on probation, right? Because even though he switched sides in the first game because he felt bad, probably after Superman decided to go infanticide.
Kill a boy.
He was still with them at first, so he kind of like surrendered at the end of the first game, and I guess they charged him and whatever, and he paid his dues,
fines or whatever, and did his community service.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course he's, you know, there's the invasion. He's like, oh shit, I should probably go help or whatever. There's whatever, and then he fights Deadshot and Captain Cold.
Yeah, Captain Cold's awesome. I'm so glad he's in there.
Cool character in the game.
Because I think Flash actually has some of the best like rogues gallery out of any characters. Like, and this one's nobody thinks about that, like, you know, at first, you know, but like Captain Cold, Captain Boomerang, you know, even Reverse Flash and just his whole storyline and all that kind of stuff. Gorilla Grodd, and it's cool that they utilize a bunch of those in this one, you know. And the nice thing too is the fact, because it's Mortal Kombat style, is that Mortal Kombat's always been really good at being able to like shuffle the roster really well and make it totally work.
I really appreciate the Bane redesign in this game. It looks great. That said, I do like the Bane design in the first game too, for how outrageous it is. It's kind of like the Batman and Robin movie with Batman and Robin with George Clooney and Arnold.
Well, that one, the Bane, it's like Bane's kind of retarded in that movie, but he looks really good.
He looks like the comic, you know, like
he looks great. Like costume wise, it's amazing.
Comics, but no, it's great. It's hilarious. It's goofy, but that movie is goofy.
I still love that movie. I still think George Clooney's a great fucking Batman. I don't care. He's sitting. There's a George Clooney action figure behind me there.
We didn't do the Batman movies, right? You probably
didn't.
Those a long time. But yeah,
ironically, the only one I've done is Batman. I just did Batman Returns for Christmas with Ryan. That was the only one I did. But
we watched we have more to watch, of course. We didn't watch the Adam West one. There's also some of the old TV shows, but we basically
the Adam West one, when I was a kid, that was my favorite Batman movie.
I mean, I liked the show, but I never saw the movie. Well, yeah, we went from the Tim Burton. Well, actually, I think Tim Burton was involved in Batman and Robin too, and Batman Forever.
He's just producer on Batman Forever, but it's kind of like a glorified. But he's just literally getting paid. And then by Batman and Robin, I don't think he's on that anymore. It's just Joel Schumacher.
Oh, I think you're right. But yeah, so I wasn't sure because some of the characters remain in that all the way through. Alfred, I think, is the same.
Jim Gordon.
But yeah, so I mean, we watched from Batman, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, and then we watched the Christian Bale films, and then we'd already seen the one with Robert Pattinson.
Oh, the Batman.
Yeah, and then I think that was about it. We didn't watch Batman versus
Superman.
You
got to get the extended cut of that one. The extended cut makes a big difference. Now, they don't cut any Batman scenes, of course. Why would they cut Batman scenes? But they cut a lot of Superman story out of the movie. But like that extra, it sounds weird to be like, because that movie I remember I seeing in theaters is like, it's kind of long and it's kind of like, you know, a little bit kind of disjointed and so on like that. And you mostly don't think that, you know what would fix this movie is an extra half an hour. But that's one of those movies that like that extra half an hour does make a difference. I'm not going to say it makes the movie like perfect or anything like that, but it just makes it like more cohesive and solid. And I still like it for what it is. I mean, it's, you got to kind of take it for, it's not the most perfect Batman Superman movie. Sure. But it's still fun and it's still got some interesting stuff in it. And I think that Batman is actually realistically the best Batman there is. So
with Robert Pattinson?
No, Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ben Affleck, I think his Batman's like spotted. Like it feels the most Batman out of all of them.
I liked him in Justice League. I remember that, but I'm going to watch that Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, you got to check that one out. As I said, I think it's actually pretty darn good out of all those ones.
I really like Henry Cavill's Superman too.
Yeah, I like Henry Cavill on as well.
I will say this. I think anything I watch Henry Cavill in, I can't not think of The Witcher. I feel like
See, I've never seen that. I've only seen him in Superman.
That
and
first
stuff.
season is so good. The second season is okay. The third season, bleh. But that first season of that show was really cool. And I watched that before I watched Superman, and then the whole time while I'm watching Superman, I have to remind myself he's Superman. But
yeah. He was always my pick to be the new 007. I always thought he would make a sweet.
Yeah.
The downfall is he's been too many major characters now that I think it might not. You kind of want 007 to be kind of like not like an unknown, but kind of not a popular actor, and like so that like when he is popular, that's what you know him for.
Yeah.
Where I feel like
he tried out for 007 and he didn't get the role because they said he was too young.
Yeah, back in the day, when he stood a boy, but no, he's always super good no matter what. But yeah, I'm kind of bummed that like he didn't get more of a Superman kind of career or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, the new guy's good in the new one. So
yeah. But anyway, so they investigate Grodd, what's going on there. Black Canary, Green Arrow, and Harlequin goes with them. She's a reformed criminal. She's now a good guy, and they ran into.
I gotta say this is the era when like Harley Quinn starts to get really popular.
Yes,
and so like they like
no
double
surprise.
down. They double down on her, and I will say because it's like most ones like I really like Harley Quinn and the Batman.
I thought she was a little annoying in this game.
Yep, this is like because this is that point where I kind of started to not like Harley Quinn anymore. It was about this era because they were pushing her in so much stuff, and she's just started to become like too obnoxious, and it's just like.
It's like cooking, man, and you put too much salt in your food. That's was Harley Quinn in this game.
Yeah,
I thought she was one of my favorite characters in Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, if it's Paul Dini writing Harley Quinn, she's fantastic. I don't think other people understand the character good enough.
I have to agree with that.
And it's kind of like, and this is that time period where Suicide Squad's just coming out. That's why Enchantress is one of the DLC characters.
Yeah.
And so this is where they're really doubling down on the Harley Quinn character. And yeah, at this point, this is where I almost start checking out of this character. And it goes from a character that I used to really like to being like, now if I don't have to see her, I'm happy actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she doesn't have a great fate in this game anyway. But yeah. She's like that. She's annoying in this game, but you could still tolerate her just enough. But I really liked Scarecrow in this.
Yeah, I like the way what they did with him. I think it's really cool.
That was really cool. But yeah, they run into him and run into
Ivy.
Poison Ivy, yeah, which is another great character. And then they fight Catwoman and whatnot. And then she becomes, she's basically double agent for Batman, under the employ of Gorilla Grodd, but he won't let her get close enough, and blah blah blah. And
it's probably because I feel like Gorilla Grodd's one place. He's like, all right, she's a woman. Just
not only man apes, human, but she's a woman.
Yeah, I feel Gorilla Grodd is that kind of guy.
I love Gorilla Grodd for how much of a smug asshole that he is. It's hilarious, because it's like he's never gotten anywhere. Just like every other criminal. They're always foiled. But here he is, like I am the apex, organism. I'm
here I am, and then Braniac shows up. He's like, "Hey, Braniac, I'll do your bidding for you."
Yeah,
just get rid of that damn Flash.
So yeah, they realize after they, I guess incapacitate Gorilla Grodd and his lackeys that, oh shit, there's a big giant spaceship in the sky, and he abducts Green Arrow and what's her name, Black Canary, and pretty much from then on, that's the end of them.
Yeah, they literally, you find them later on when like you realize that Brainiac's kind of like mind melted a lot of these characters just so you can fight them again.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other one that they fight that you come across, which I thought was super cool, was Swamp Thing, and once again. You see him once in the game and never again until the end when he's under Braniac's mind control.
Yeah, and when he comes back, I literally forgot Swamp Thing was in the game the second time he came back. I was like, oh yeah, Swamp Thing's in this game.
That's what I'm saying. Because what's her name? It's either Harlequin or one of the characters is like, you're under mind control. I think he wasn't under mind control. He was just fighting because he doesn't like when people are mean to plants and shit.
Yeah.
And
He caught
They're like,
somebody
"Oh."
taking a dump in a swamp.
They're like, oh, like Swamp Thing, like ally with us, and he's like, I don't care who you are. They're like, you should get out of here. And they're like, but he's gonna hurt your swamp. And he's like, or hurt the green. And he's like, okay, well, we might, our interests may align in the future then. So I'm thinking like, oh, there might be a cool scene where the forest like destroys Braniac's robots. Nope. You don't see him until the very end of the game when he's just under mind control. Yeah. And there's a little bit of that going on, but so then it goes back
just
to
underused.
Yeah. So you have pretty much two conflicts going on in this game. The ultimate conflict against Braniac, and then the conflict that is kind of underlying, that's like put on hold, which is, what are we doing with Superman? And so Diana and Black Adam take Supergirl. They go to the prison that he's being held in, and they make these attempts to break him out. And who's guarding him but Firestorm and Blue Beetle? Which I gotta say, I wasn't super excited about these characters because I don't know much about them, and I just didn't care. That said, playing as them, they were two of my favorite characters to play as.
Yeah, isn't that funny how that kind of... Well, they're interesting. I mean, I feel Firestorm's just an interesting character because it's like old white guy and a young black kid, and they have to fuse together. That feels like the most 70s made character when you think about it. Like, that is such like a 70s era. Like, okay, how are we going to get to the youth market?
Yeah, exactly. And then the Blue Beetle, he's another weird character tee, but...
because that's Blue Beetle 2 technically.
Oh, okay.
So because there's Blue Beetle, the original one, who's kind of like kind of similar to like Ant-Man and so on, like that kind of like style, and like
that's kind of what I thought.
And then so pretty much the second one is that like Jaime just happens to stumble across the Scarab, and now he's got powers, and now he's this hip Mexican kid running around with beetle powers, and that's kind of like his story.
But yeah, no, they were cool. You kind of defend the prison. Well, you don't really defend the prison. You're keeping them from busting Superman out, and you pretty much succeed. But then Firestorm is like, they're about to just bust him out anyway. But then Firestorm, he's like, I will blow up this whole freaking like thing, and he's about to go like, nuclear, yes. And then Batman shows up, just frees Superman.
Yeah, Batman shows up. He's like, "What are you doing, boy? Don't you blowing things up? Like I paid good money for this place."
And it's funny, because prior to them trying to break him out, Batman confronts Superman. He's like, "How do I beat Braniac?" And he's like, "You can't.
You need me, Batman." Yeah.
It's like, you need me, and I kind of wondered. I'm like, is he a character that Superman knows? Or is Superman just assuming that, yeah, you just need me because I'm awesome? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that said, yeah, I mean, ultimately Batman, I feel like he was just kind of being stubborn. I mean,
yeah. I think it is. I think it's that Superman thing, be like, yo, that's my villain up there. You know what I mean? Like, I want to just go and beat the Joker. He's like, you killed the Joker. Well, you know what I mean. Which, speaking of which, there's also the Joker in this game too. Where the hell did that Joker come from? Is it like, because that's the weirdest one. Is you get this
another Joker?
Yeah, remember like there's like, oh, I guess never mind. Take that back. Scarecrow, I think.
Yes,
drugs. That's right. Yeah. And for some reason, when Harley Quinn sees the Joker, she sees more like emo version Joker. So she's not.
I know, right? I'm like, oh no, it's almost like the Jared Leto one.
Yeah, and it's not that Jared Leto's, for what he's doing, it's completely different. He's actually not that bad, but I don't want to see that in my. It feels like I don't want to see that in my game. I want to see standard Joker. Why does she have to visualize? Yeah, like some goofy like emo haircut where he's like hairs. Yeah, I don't. No. Don't try to youth up. Yeah, don't youth up my Joker. That's just weird.
That is weird because it's not like he was young when he became the Joker, or at least not like a teenager. But anyway, yeah. So
yeah, it's a mod band, yeah.
But they gosh, what was it? Yeah, so he breaks them out, and they do their thing, and they go back to they all kind of gather, put their beef on hold and go and to, I guess, Batman's somewhere. They go somewhere. So Batman's like locked out of his Batcave because of Braniac, infiltrated his brother Eye, and whatnot. So was Lucius, the dude from the Morgan Freeman, was he a character in the Batman comics?
He is. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I just recognized him from those movies, and I thought, oh, he's in this. But
no. Yeah, Lucius Fox is there. He's kind of like the other technology that Batman kind of gets. If Batman doesn't make it himself, Lucius makes it.
Yeah. So he's his brother Eye and everything. It's all compromised, and he gets he enlists the aid of criminal Cyborg to go into his Batcave with Harlequin and I think Batwoman. Not Batwoman, Catwoman. To get in there and fix it up and whatnot. And Cyborg's such a dick. He's telling Harlequin what's his name? Green Arrow and Black. They're dead. They're gone. And she's like all depressed. But they basically get a new plan in place. And I love the scene where they're at the old Justice League table, but it's covered up and you don't know it. And as everybody's walking away, Superman and Batman being all cordial to each other, Superman's like, "Why'd you keep it?" And pulls the cover off the table, and it's the Justice League table, and Batman's like, "I didn't know it was there." And it gives you this idea, like this slight glimmer of hope that like they're gonna make amends somehow, and things are gonna be okay again after this Brainiac conflict. Another thing I want to throw in there is, where the heck is Jon Jones?
Martian Manhunter was just a DLC character, and then he's just thrown to the curb again.
I'm like, I feel like he would have been really useful in this battle.
It's kind of weird that they didn't use him still. Like, he always gets screwed over, because this is the era, too, that literally they started up the Justice League, for, like, the New 52. He was booted out of the Justice League, and Cyborg took his spot. They're like, "Yo, we need the black market in here. We don't need the green, so you can get your ass out of here, Jon Jones."
That's so weird to me. That's so weird. Like, I feel like if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably choose Jon Jones. Like, Cyborg's super smart and everything. I get it, but so's Batman. So's I don't know, other people. Yeah. Lex Luthor, for God's sakes. It's not like he's 100% a villain all the time. I don't know. But whatever.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was kind of a weird one, because it's like, Martian Manhunter's always been there, but he nowadays it feels like he's getting a little bit, they're kind of bringing him back with some stuff. I don't know if it'll work out, because, I hate to sort of say it, I always feel like he's been one of those kind of characters. He's a really cool character. I just don't think he's ever got the recognition that he deserves, though. And I don't think he ever kind of really will, because I think the average person looks at him like, oh, he's green, he's a Martian. We don't trust those, people from Mars.
We don't like aliens unless they're Superman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pretty much. It's like, we don't like aliens unless they look like us. He's like, well, I can transform. Not good enough. Deep down inside, you're a dirty green alien.
Like, you're not Superman, and you're not a 5'4" blonde woman in a swimsuit. So, sorry.
Yes.
As in, Supergirl. But
that time that we invited you to the campfire, we didn't realize you'd have a freak out moment when you saw it.
Well, yeah, so they make their plans. They get the brother Eye back, Batman's cave and whatnot, and then they basically make their last stand against Brainiac, and Atlantis fell as well. Aquaman was being a douche. He was like, I'm not fighting with you guys. I'm going to protect Atlantis. Oh, he fails at that.
Yeah, that sure worked out.
And then
we also have Green Lantern as well, too, because Green Lantern, for some reason, goes to hardcore rehab in Oa, and they put him through the ringer or something like that.
And I love, too, like, I thought there was going to be something quite a bit bigger. So Green Arrow has, Green Lantern comes back. He's reformed, he went to his AA in space. And then he has this, like, bout with his rage. And
the parallax.
Parallax, yes. Fights him once, and I thought maybe there's going to be more of that, but no, it never again.
No, it never really comes back. I mean, he keeps having it, so it's like it's bound to come. I don't know, maybe it's building up to the third one. I did think that this was also another opportunity that, like, because Hal Jordan was kind of a bad guy in the previous game, I feel like you have all these other Green Lanterns you could have chose from. I don't know why they didn't go with either Guy Gardner or John Stewart
or something.
Yeah, like I
the guy
felt like
that looks
that,
like a weird
or
pickle?
even Kilowog. Yeah, you know, I thought that was kind of a weird one to try to bring Hal Jordan back. I felt like that was a perfect place that you could have slipped another Green Lantern in there.
He's like Dolph Lundgren in the Expendables, you know.
Yeah,
Alcoholic.
he tries to kill Jet Li, but for some reason he's back on the team the next movie. Nobody seemed to be worried.
Oh man!
Instead, they got rid of Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
I still always wonder, what did Mickey Rourke do to Stallone that Stallone had to kick him off the team and not mention it, bring it up ever again?
That's pretty hilarious.
You know, yeah. So somehow, some way, Hal's back, but he's got this parallax thing going on. But he's got it kind of under control, I guess.
Yeah,
because even the Red Lanterns show up for a brief moment. Try to get him angry. Like, here, put this anger ring on. Come on, feel it. Come on, it feels awesome, bro. Come on, it's red. Look at me, I got a fucking little cat with me. You get a fucking cat.
He's like peer pressuring him, you know, like just do it, dude. Just do it, you know. And but he resists, and then you never see him again. And then, but yeah, so they make their stand against Braniac, and basically it's Batman and Superman. Well, it's Batman and Supergirl, because during their fight initially against Braniac, like everybody's getting annihilated as usual. Oh, they captured Gorilla Grodd, by the way. It was Aquaman and Black Adam, and that was another brutal ass scene. You know, like they beat the crap out of him. They beat the crap out of the mind controlled heroes, and then Aquaman just like murders Gorilla Grodd.
Nobody seems to care.
Like, holy smokes! Like right in the gut. And then Superman or Wonder Woman attempted to murder Harlequin, and Supergirl got upset about it. She goes to like smacks her in the face, and then goes and tells Superman, who's like, "That's a shame that you got in the way," you know. And you know, it's like, oh, yep, that alternate Superman is back, or maybe he never left.
You know, I assume that this Superman has always been bad in this world. I don't feel like there's necessarily a good version. I think he was always a guy who was, you know, if you had this whole story, you know, I feel like there's no way that this is our standard, you know.
And it's the same with Diana. It's the same with
Smallville. Yeah, and she's just warmonger.
She tells Batman, you know, like, you can't, like, there's no way that he's gonna, you know, like, you can't succeed with these like pussy feelings and stuff. You know, she's just like,
stop acting like a woman, Bruce.
She's like USSR Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
It's a really cool take, though. It's I think it's a really cool take. Again, I'm not a huge Superman like aficionado, so I'm not like, hey, hold on a minute here, like these guys are not like this. But no. So
well, the funny thing is I noticed is like they'll never do that to Batman. They'll never do the thing where like I feel like I've never ran across that story. Maybe it does exist, but for the most part, I don't think I've ever ran across that story where
he's always usually the other way around.
Where Superman's actually the really good guy and Batman's the guy doing like mischievous things. That's never really the case. You know, It's almost like it always ends up being. I think because there's just a lot of people out there that they look at Superman. I think there's like that he's not their favorite character, so they look at him like he could be this easily, you know, be a power tyrant villain. You know, in a sense, he's pretty much what Lex Luthor always thought he was going to be, you know, because that's kind of like how Lex Luthor is he's not really necessarily a villain. He just assumes that Superman's always going to someday turn on everybody.
And for what I understand, too, I'll have to look into this deeper, or whoever would have to look. It doesn't matter. The very first Superman comic ever, Superman was the villain, Lex Luthor was the hero. Again, like, I don't know if maybe that was just a bullcrap story that I read somewhere on some dumb website, but from what I literally
have one of those books that's like one of those like it's got like all like the historical like impact issues.
It was almost it was almost like, from what I understand, it was almost like how you have pilot episodes for TV shows that after that pilot, like there's no continuity, like everything else changes after that pilot.
Like the original X-Men episode for the cartoon show. Like, have you ever seen the pilot one? Where it's got like, Wolverine's in the brown outfit. That's the easiest way you can tell that it's the pilot one.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I saw that, because the first one that I know of is with Jubilee, where she runs away.
Yeah. That's the first of the regular series, but there is like a pilot episode that they made a couple years prior to kind of like try to get it going. It's actually really cool.
Huh. No, that is cool. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. And I think it's the same kind of concept, but now I'm going to look into it again because I'm really curious. But But yeah, so they go to, they make their last stand, and people are getting annihilated and whatnot, and who knows what happens to Blue Beetle and Firestorm. I think they're toast. Or they get corrupted, I think, or something. Whatever.
Yeah, they get mind control, but we have no idea about that.
Dr. Fate, not to leave him out.
Oh yeah, Dr. Fate, yeah, because he kind of comes in and out.
Once again, like nothing happens with this guy. He shows up, you don't see him until like way later in the game, and then he's dead. And then
I tried to fix Fate, Bruce, and but I couldn't get it. I tried it again, and then it didn't seem to work out.
And but yeah, so Superman dies in the fight against Braniac, and Braniac's still up in his little spaceship. So Batman and Supergirl go up there, and the other heroes are, I guess, fighting. And but yeah, they breach his spaceship, and Supergirl gets taken. Batman is about to be smoked, and then, alas, Superman shows up and saves Batman, and the two team up for their last, hurrah, and they go fight Braniac, which, interestingly enough, was the first part of the game that I really started to struggle was against Braniac.
Well, because he's got the classic boss cheap tactics, because like that version of Braniac, which is only on that, it's not if you like play as him, you're fighting him, and then all of a sudden like an arm will come out and slap you from behind or come smash you. It's like, you're like, god damn it. Like, so there's a little bit of a luck in that battle for sure. Like, I feel like you're not winning on pure skill alone.
No, it was tough. I had to set the difficulty down. And then, but yeah, that said, it was a fun boss battle though. I like the stage mechanics. And then especially when you fight him multiple times, it's kind of annoying. You fight him, you beat him, and then Superman gets up in his chair and starts steering his ship. And then you fight him again, and then you defeat him again, and then that's when Superman, after he's just like laying there like with the shit beat out of him on the floor, Brainiac is, and Superman, while he was in his chair, like he saved the city that was about to be hit from, I think it might have been Gotham, from the ship. So he steers it with his mind away, and then he's like all the cities that were collected by Braniac, he like thinks them back into place, but he couldn't save Metropolis, and he couldn't save Green Lantern City, Emerald
Star City.
It
was either, I think it might have been, Star City.
I forget what the city is, but Crescent or whatever. Who cares? It's Green Lantern's city.
Oh yeah, so
Emerald Coast.
Emerald Coast. Then because that's what it was. And I guess it makes more sense that it's not random ass Green Arrow's city.
Yeah.
Which I guess if this leads to a third game, if we do ever get it, who knows, is that the Parallax thing could almost kind of come and be like, dude, Superman, you literally just dropped my fucking city on the ground. Like it just spilled out like a broken glass of milk.
Well, and like, so that becomes the next, that becomes the real final act of the game, because I thought that was going to be it. Once you fight Brainiac and you beat him, and I thought they were going to be like, well, maybe we can be friends again. But no, he's laying there, and all the cities are saved except for Metropolis and Emerald City. And Superman's like, well, all right, I'm going to smoke this dude now. And
Batman's like, whoa, robots have feelings too.
Yeah. He's like, no, we need to, I love, like we need to keep him alive so we can figure out how to get our cities back. And he's like, no, we don't. He's like, he tells him like, well, just use Cyborg. He'll figure it out, and it's like, I just use that guy for whatever they need. And, but like, of course, then it's back to the division. Half of the heroes are like, fuck you. The other ones are like, no way, fuck you. And like half of them want to keep Brainiac alive. The other half want to execute him. Me, I'm thinking like, cut your losses, execute the thing, dude. Like, he's not going to help you out. Are you kidding me? And, but so
Batman just has faith. He's just like, I believe in him. I believe that robot can change.
Yeah. So they're like, it goes back. Yeah. Again, everyone's fighting everyone. Black Adam grabs Batman and throws him down into Arkham, Arkham City or Gotham, I mean. And then Superman beats up Green Lantern. And this is the point too where you can choose, like, do you want to be Batman? Do you want to be Superman? And the canon ending is the Batman ending.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume that is the one.
Yeah, and but basically, yeah, what happens is you go through like three or four more fights. Superman, I mean Supergirl and Batman, and then you face down Superman at the end in this. Oh, I love too where like right before they like get into their real fight, when they're talking first, like, hey, what do we do with them? I love how Superman is about to be like, okay, no, I'm just gonna kill you, like, and then that's when Batman just like slices him across the chest with a gold kryptonite dagger or something. It's like, dang, Mister, I don't kill people, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's even like that scene earlier when Damian, like, he's talking about, it's like at the very beginning of the game, he's like, well, you might not kill people, but what about traumatic brain injuries? Like, not a problem.
Yeah, this shit's hilarious. But yeah, so you go back to the cave. Supergirl leads them to the Bat Cave, and you get your special, I guess, Krypton
Batman armor.
Yeah, and you beat up Superman. You don't kill him. Once again, you put him in, I guess, red handcuffs, kryptonite handcuffs or something.
Well, like somehow, some way, because Batman like infuses him with like the gold kryptonite, so it apparently strips some of his powers. Strips some of his powers, and then he like boots him off into the Phantom Zone. And Clark, it's just once again in a totally un-Superman like moment, he goes, "That place will never hold me. I'll be back."
Yeah.
He's talking like he's Zod.
And him and Supergirl have their like, but we were family moment, but she's like, nope, sorry. And then that's when Batman basically,
if you saw the tapes, it said that your dad wanted you to marry me. So, I'm not having it.
But he's basically like, we're gonna, kind of alludes to making another Justice League, and she's like, okay, cool. And that was pretty much it. And then if you did the Superman version, which I thought was a way cooler ending, to be honest, even though I'm kind of glad the Batman ending is the canon one. The Superman ending was pretty diabolical. Where basically you do the same fights, but when you beat Batman up, you instead of killing him, which Wonder Woman's pretty upset about, she's like, "Oh, why is he still breathing?" You're like, if I keep him alive, if I kill him, he's going to be a martyr, which I also thought was stupid because it's not.
I don't feel that most people know who Batman is, like in like these worlds, to tell you the truth, because Batman's such in the secrets that like.
Well, not only that, but even if he killed him, and even if he was a martyr, what would Superman care with allies like Wonder Woman and Black Adam? I mean, like, seriously, what are people going to do that they would have tried to do in the previous game and failed at?
Yeah, that's true. I mean? Like, well, they're not putting up any. Yeah, Lex Luthor's gone. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, at first I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to martyr, but then I'm like, that's dumb. But that said,
well, and the simplest one, that's where you go, hey, Batman made a sacrifice to defeat Braniac, and he didn't make it. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah. So then, what happens is, instead of keeping Braniac alive, Superman keeps Batman alive, and it shows him later on with like a new outfit. He's all Brainiacized. He's got.
It actually looks pretty cool. That outfit's actually pretty badass looking.
And then he basically turns Batman into a robot. And
Brainiac robot, because it's like Superman's fused with Brainiac. He's done like the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z, and he's got this cool Brainiac outfit on.
And he lets Supergirl know, like, because she's in prison. He's in prison her, and she's like, "What's happening?" And he's like, "Oh, everything's great. No, everything's great. Like I said, like we just making everything better, really. Here's Batman. He's great. He's doing great. And he's so positive, but it's because he's a psychopath, and like he's turning people into robots. He says like, "Oh yeah, the cities are like great," and she's just kind of like, no, it's like that classic horror movie that has a non-good ending. But that's that kind of ending. But
you got that one there, and so on, and then that just leaves us off to whatever the heck I guess comes next if they decide to, because it's been a moment for the Injustice games. Like there realistically should have been one in between 11 and Mortal Kombat 1.
The rumor that I heard was that NetherRealm was working on Injustice 3, and to get a holiday release of Mortal Kombat out for 2022, I believe, they halted production of that and just made them make the Mortal Kombat 1, and that was another reason, again, another rumor as to why a lot of people were upset with MK1.
Because it was kind of just thrown out there in a weird way. Yeah.
You know, but who knows? Rumors, you know how rumors are. But yeah, I am very interested to see. I want to say I'm interested to see where the next game is going, even though we have no idea if there's going to be a next game. There's got to be a next game. I mean,
well, this is the one that I think because I couldn't help but think about it. Like, I almost feel like the thing that would be kind of cool to do with the next game is in the third one is take it into space. I think that's the main thing. You could start off in Metropolis and Gotham is like so you can have those levels, but like legitimately get into space and use a lot of space characters. One, use Oa as kind of a section there. Use a lot of the Green Lantern characters. Throw Kilowog in there. Maybe throw a couple other Green Lanterns. Make Hal Jordan finally turn into Parallax. So you got all that there. But then have it take to the main villain they're going to Apocalypse, and they're going to find Darkseid finally. That's what they really need to do. And then use all the Darkseid characters. You know, you got the weird characters like Granny Goodness and all kinds of stuff that you could pull and use. And
or God, you can even take go back to that other universe and do a different story there. You know, like.
Yeah, well, I feel like they'd probably stay in this regime world, but I think that would be the next way to do it. Is like, Darkseid's the next thing they got to go to, but like the villain kind of almost in between would be a good one. Be Parallax, since we've kind of built up to that. You know,
that would be interesting to have Darkseid and have Supergirl as a protagonist as opposed to Superman.
Yeah, because that's what I think you do. Is this sounds weird, but pretty much make Superman kind of like how the Joker is in this game, where he's a playable character, but he has nothing really to do with the story.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds kind of ballsy to not have Superman in there, but I think for so he's there gameplay wise, but I think story wise, literally just use Kara and Batman. That's your two main characters, because of course it's going to be Batman. They go into space with maybe Jon Stewart or, Kilowog and all these kind of guys, and they have to go.
Jones.
Fuck it. Once again, bring all the space characters in a sense. So bring out Martian Manhunter and all that kind of stuff like that, and literally just have them go on this space traveling journey for everywhere from Oa, and then finally get the Darkseid, and that's where it kind of leads up to. They have to, at the halfway point, they defeat Parallax. So but then you realize there's a greater villain and it's Darkseid and everything like that, and go from there and use a lot more because there's other color Green Lanterns and so on like that, or I guess they're not green, like Pink Lanterns and all that kind of stuff. Like, it'd be kind of badass to have more of that in there. I know that's not like super popular characters as much as Batman. I mean, you'd still have to have.
It's cool.
And I think that's that one too, where it's like you could use a lot of other like Superman characters and so on like that you could pull that are space traveling kind of stuff, and just make it like everything is kind of space themed. I think that'd be badass.
No, I think so too. I think so, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I know, we just will. They did put Darkseid as a DLC character.
I saw it, yeah.
Which is like, it's like, okay, that's kind of cool, but I hope that leads into something else.
Yeah.
And they do have some other ones, because there's like...
Black Mantis.
Black Mantis is badass. I'm kind of bummed that he's not in the storyline, because he's just that cool of a character. But I'm glad he's there anyways, You got Starfire in there, too, which I want to say, I could have swore that in the first one, Cyborg says, oh, they killed Starfire and Beast Boy,
Yeah.
And so he did. She's here. Yeah.
That's why he was torturing Deathstroke.
That's right. Yeah. Because so it's almost like so something happened to the Teen Titans and whatnot. Nobody cared about Beast Boy, let's be honest, but they were really bummed out when Starfire died, and then and then like this game actually adds like some other, but beyond just the Mortal Kombat characters, it throws a couple other comic book ones in there, which I do actually feel like they're kind of fitting. They don't feel like they take away, because sometimes in some of the Mortal Kombat games, like I almost feel like when they do like their bonus characters, it's like they have no rhyme or reason how they pick it. It's just everybody has like a list of things they like and go, yeah, that sounds good. Which I always kind of wish they sort of themed them a little bit more. Like, I always thought that Mortal Kombat 10 would have been cool if that was all horror movie characters, and then Mortal Kombat 11 had all action like movies. Action sci-fi kind of characters or whatever, you know. But instead, they kind of are all jumbled and whatnot,
hodgepodge. Yeah, no, I'm right there with you.
So at least in this one, the cool ones they have Hellboy, which is actually a pretty sweet one, because that feels like he does kind of fit like he could be a DC character. And then I like how they have the Ninja Turtles. And it's cool how you can play as each one of them. It's weird how like they have a goofy system of how you choose them, of course, because I do have kind of mixed feelings about they have a costume system in here and like this weird RPG system and stuff.
Yeah.
And I get it, like it's meant to be, and I think it's that one that's like they're sort of testing it out for, once again, Mortal Kombat 11. And the one they have here, it's like, I can kind of see it in multiple ways. I see how, like, I get it for, like, okay, it gives you more things to do as a single player. You know, you earn points and all that stuff. And this is right at that time period where, like, they're trying to make games have, like, you have daily check-ins. You know, you got loot boxes and all. Like, it's like at that era where, like, loot boxes are there and, you know, all this stuff. So this game's filled with all that kind of stuff. And you got to use real-world money if you want to buy some of these other kind of things. Or you could play the game for, 15 hours and get, the points you need. And I remember just back in the day, I was like, oh, it's cool that there's some of these things here, but I don't know. The costume system, it's kind of cool, but I hate the randomness of it.
Yes.
I think it's just because you just play the game. It's like, I got a loot box. Oh, what 3 pieces did I get? Like, okay, whatever. That's not what I wanted. And it's just kind of one of those ones. I almost just wish they had costumes like they had in Injustice 1. Injustice 1 was just perfect.
Yes.
Here's Batman, and here's 7 costumes from the comic books, video games, movies, whatever. And they did that for mostly all the characters. I wish that this one kind of had stuff like that. It's just kind of a bummer. Like, there's some costumes in there. Like, there's some cool ones. Like Supergirl has one where like you can change her to Power Girl. Yeah. And it literally changes the voice and like everything like that. It's like, oh, that's kind of neat. And then there's some other ones too where like Cheetah's in the game or whatever. You could play as Vixen and so on. Captain Cold has a Mr. Freeze costume. And they do a good job there, but like they make it like it takes like a lot of effort to unlock all that stuff because those points don't come easily. And what they're really trying to do is get your credit card after you've already spent $100 on the stupid Steelbook edition game that they want more from you. And granted, I think it's just that one. This game just happened to fall in that time period where, like, I think all these companies are kind of peer pressured into, like, the money-making Ponzi scheme of, loot boxes and, like, getting more money out of it. Which, to me, I always felt like this is my thing. That's fine for a cell phone game. You know why? You didn't pay a single dime for that cell phone game to start it. So if you have to pay little, microtransactions, that's part of its style. You know what I mean? I always looked at cell phone games. If you didn't spend any more than like a normal game, you're fine. If you spend more than that, then you're a complete addict, and you probably should never do this again.
When you already paid,
I feel like when you
at least,
when you pay for like. Because this one right here was like the one supposed to be like the Legendary Edition. It has all the DLC and yada yada yada. But the fact that, like, it's still making me have to, like, work to get, like, all that extra stuff or pay.
Why?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's, as I said, on paper, the concept doesn't sound bad. Like, the little level-up system, you can kind of, dial your character in by their armbands or their necklace or their helmet and all that stuff. But I'm also, too, like, I'm not the biggest fan of that kind of stuff when I really think about it. I'm like, I just want my Batman and Superman characters just to look like Batman and Superman like they do and just have their cool costumes throughout the years. If I'm creating my own character, like it's Mass Effect or something like that, and I can kind of design like the way they look,
absolutely,
that's cool. But I don't want to design Batman in a sense. I want Batman to look like Batman. I don't want him to have. And plus, this always leads.
You don't
to
want him to look like Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say that's the downfall. Is this leads into those kind of like Call of Duty issues where next thing you know, everybody's character looks kind of stupid running around at each other, and you're like, wasn't this a serious war shooter game at one point in time? What the hell happened here? Why is everything like neon and rainbow and everything like that and psychedelic? Yeah. So that's always that's the slippery slope that you go down, But
well, that said, it's a pretty awesome game.
No, it's still pretty darn sweet. The graphics wise, this one like really is an improvement, and yeah, the story's still good. Like everything about it's still pretty darn solid. It's just one of those ones. It's just got a couple like little bit different things there, which hopefully the third one will be even more dialed in, and I'll be excited to see what kind of game or characters they throw into it. But yeah, Well, actually, speaking of costumes. Superman, when he puts his new costume on in story and he's got that stupid looking headpiece that looks like he had like a neck injury or something like that.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
That's the dumbest looking thing.
It was. I'm like, never have I seen him wear this stupid chin strap.
Yeah, like he got like whiplash on like the roller coaster or something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty odd.
Yeah, his therapist is like, hey, you need to put this on for the next 3 weeks. But yeah, good times be had. Well, I think next we'll jump into that Injustice animated movie, which I know I did a podcast on that when it came out, but I could not tell you what happens in that one. I bet you Superman fights Batman, though, if anything, but beyond that, I totally don't remember what happens, so it'll be fun to go back to that, But yeah, beyond that, check out some Injustice. You could get it for like $4.99 practically all the time on Steam.
Definitely worth it.
Xbox or PlayStation. They practically give that game away, you know, and it's like beyond worth it. Like that's the thing. It's like Warner Brothers does that, and it's like, dude, your games are worth. Because if this is a game was like only $20 and it never went down from there, I would still say that's a hell of a deal. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a deal, even if that was like its sale price. But yeah, check out Injustice. Check out Injustice 1. Good times there. Till then, you can go listen to all the other Old Man Orange podcasts, talking movies, games, and all that other fun stuff. Check it out on Spotify, YouTube. But till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Dave Candido.
And we'll see you some other time.